to get started to see which one can be the most retarded. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, don't tell them what to say. Tinfoil haters are here to save the day. To get started to see which one can be the most retarded. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show.
Welcome back to Tinfoil Haters. How are all you vital idols doing? Grab the tinfoil hats because we diving into all the conspiracies today, because the Denver airport is not just one conspiracy. It is literally every single conspiracy ever. All roads lead back to the Denver airport. And obviously I can't break this down alone. In fact, today's idea was my boy Sammy 3P. Sammy, tell the people who you are, what you do, the whole nine.
I'm Sammy 3P, and I'm a Detroit-based musician, but I also do stuff on the interwebs. And boy, you weren't kidding about does this have the checklist? It was like, can I give you like a brief checklist? Ghost horse, space Nazis, lizard people, Freemasons, New World Order, Illuminati, let's say nuclear fallout, maybe some tunnels. We got some
Jewish tunnels.
This is all for the Denver airport.
I was about to ask Cindy, like, even the uninitiated like you, who's not like super up on conspiracies, I'm sure you've at least heard something about the Denver airport. Have you not? Is this totally new to you?
The blue horse, Lucifer.
Yeah, Lucifer.
Lucifer, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen him in person. I actually, because I'm a conspiracy nut, when I went to Denver, I went and checked out Lucifer, and cool fucking statue. I'm gonna be real. Cool fucking statue. Massive.
I've also been, yes.
32 foot tall. What did you say, Sammy?
I've also been. And yes, it's sweet.
Cindy, before we get into it proper, tell people who you are, what you do, the whole nine.
Oh, hey guys, I'm Cindy. I like to talk about anime, gaming, and on the occasion, a little bit of horror. So I'm excited about today because apparently I don't know enough about Denver.
You're going to learn. We got plenty to talk about, but we also got to say hello to the chat. Matt Stanford's here. Shout out. Cowboy Diesel. Hani Maui. Shout out. Hey, thank you so much, Hypno, for a big army raid prior to the stream starting. You absolute fucking legend. Truly appreciated. Mr. Melancholy is here. Again, there's my boy, Hypno. Michelle, Valiant Goat. Philip Morgan, IB to EB, that Darn Otaku, Cliff 420, Jin to Maxi, Seabrew is here, Light Ferret holding it down over on Kick, Soul Assassins, who I almost didn't recognize because he's changed his profile picture, but welcome back, MK3 Kratos, Jake, motherfucking Martin, and yes, that intro is top shelf. I love it oh so much. Might do a new version of it. I keep the song the same and everything, but like AI has progressed since then, make an even higher quality version. That's something that's on the back burner, but I'm glad you love it oh so much. Cindy, of course, we're talking to you guys over on Kick as well, and here in the comments. Stellar Eclipse, the True Aztec Warrior, Melphis Sky is here. Lithium Lux Adarna showing representation on the Kick side. Dax not a rest in the whole damn land. William Richards, Hypnotic. I really love the Denver airport rabbit hole. It's crazy. I don't know how we're going to break it all down in an hour and a half, but there's going to be a lot. Crovax, shout out to you, Crovax. You love to see it. Again, let's see. Hypno. I think that might just be everybody. Oh, Annie the cat is here. Denver Airport is where the Egyptian planes. Is that where the Egyptian planes are at, Leon? Yeah, you might have to ask Candace Owens about that one. You might need to ask Candace Owens about that one. I'm not too up on the Egyptian planes. Wisnotics, Minister of Matrimony, shout out to you. Appreciate you for being here. Johnny Boy up in this bitch. Amanda 357. Kai Taxi, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yandere Yams over on Kick, and Artemis Entreri, Rockin' Hound Dog, and that is everybody. Let's get right into it, because boys, It's going to be a long one. Like I know I did tons of research. Sammy, you as well. So if at any point you have something to share or you have something to show off, or you obviously any questions, commentary, sarcastic remarks is going to be appreciated. But we're just going to start with this long ass article from Aperion about the Denver International Airport. Is there anything you would like to bring up prior to us diving headfirst into it?
No, let's just burn rubber and get going because there's a lot to cover.
You land at Denver International Airport. You walk up the jet bridge, and the first thing you see is a horse. Not a real horse. A 32-foot tall, 9,000-pound fiberglass stallion with a cobalt blue stallion. I don't know why I said stallion. Stallion. Cobalt blue body, bulging veins, and glowing red eyes. It stands the entrance to the airport grounds, rearing its hind legs, lit from within so that its demonic eyes blaze against the Colorado night. Now, that is a stunning visage. Go ahead and pull up a picture of it for you guys real quick.
Why did they have to say bulging veins? Like,
we know exactly why they said bulging veins. Guys, this is Lucifer.
How is that not the cover of an energy drink?
This thing is so fucking cool. Like,
it
is even cooler knowing that the guy that made it never got to see it come to fruition. The sculptor, Luis Jimenez, never saw it installed. On June 13, 2006, a large section of the statue's torso swung loose from a crane in his Hondo, New Mexico studio and struck him in the leg, severing his femoral artery. He bled to death on the floor, surrounded by his work. He was
the first sacrifice.
Killed by his own creation, the glowing red-eyed Luciferian stallion or Mustang, whatever. I think they're the same thing. This is we're off to a good start when the opening of conspiracy theory is, this demonic red-eyed glowing horse statue straight up murdered the man who sculpted it. It's fucking crazy. The statue, formerly titled Mestino, the Spanish word for Mustang, was completed by his sons and a team of fabricators and erected at the entrance to the Denver International Airport on February 11, 2008. It cost $650,000, and locals call it Blucifer. I mean, bro, that's a baller name. Blucifer.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty awesome.
When this is just the entrance to the airport. When you're pulling up to the airport or when you're leaving the airport or whatnot, and you see this motherfucker, there's already got to be some juju involved with this. And I don't even mean juju in the JEW way, though. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of conspiracy theories talking about that at some point.
He's the other blue Jew.
Yeah, it's the other blue Jew. The horse that killed his creator now guards the gateway to the most conspiratorial building in the United States. And I do not think this is an exaggeration.
No,
I think that just building for building. Because I mean, we did an episode last week on an entire conspiracy theory surrounding just one building. The Manhattan AT&T building with no windows. Frankly, if there's any single building, not just in the U.S., I would say the world, that has more conspiracies tied to it, it is the Denver airport.
Yeah, I mean, it's got everything. It's got paranormal ones. It's got government conspiracy ones. It's all roads lead to the Denver airport.
Amanda says, member for 13 months. Shout out. Thank you. I grew up on a horse farm, so I know a lot about horses. Mustang is specifically a wild horse. Okay, thank you. So it's a stallion no matter what, and this one is specifically a Mustang, so it's supposed to be wild. That clears it up. Shout out, and thank you for 13 months of membership. The fact that public artwork whose creation involved a fatal accident was nonetheless installed at the main entrance point of the nation's largest airport, that nobody in the planning process said, perhaps we should choose a different piece, is either a monument to bureaucratic inertia or an early indication that people who make decisions about Denver International Airport operate according to a logic that does not prioritize what normal people would consider common sense. Denver International Airport is in the United States by land area. It's the largest airport in the United States by land area at 3,531 acres, roughly twice the size of Manhattan, larger than the city of San Francisco. Yeah,
Yeah,
Of
it's
all
huge.
places, Denver, like Denver, Colorado, its airport is bigger than the city of New York City, obviously.
Or,
Like,
the size of Manhattan.
yeah, size of Manhattan. Yeah, exactly. Manhattan Island. Like that's fucking crazy. Because again, I've only flown through Denver once. I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, I've flown through it, I guess, twice because there and back the time I went to Denver. But you don't really, or at least I didn't really appreciate the scale of how huge it actually is. Now, it's a very beautiful airport, or at least it used to be. It's gone through renovations since then. I haven't been to it since the renovations, but it's a very beautiful airport. But I don't know if you guys, I did not appreciate the scale. Like, it just seemed to me like another airport, just also very, pretty on the inside.
No, it was under a lot of construction when I was so we probably went around the same time. I went in 2022, I think.
No, I went so yeah, that was when the construction was happening. I went pre-construction. I went in 2016. I think 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. And the construction started, I think, around 2018. Book of Grudges, remember for 5 months. Sorry, Book of Bananas, remember for 5 months. My friend worked Denver International. Says it gives off weird energy. Throughout the whole airport. I'll let you know when I go skiing. Oh, definitely fall back up on us with that.
A lot of workers say that, though. Like, a lot of people say that, especially the workers say that like the whole building just gives off weird vibes, and that's all the way down to the mural art on the walls, and people see shit in the corner of their eyes. So there's a bunch of things going on here.
Shout out. Thank you so much for the 5-banger, homie. Let me play you a quick clip. This is for you.
You can't keep getting away with it!
How we feel about politicians that perform ritual sacrifice of children and Masonic, some Masonic rituals for a fucking airport. It was built on an empty prairie 16 miles northeast of downtown Denver, replacing the perfectly functional Stapleton International Airport at a cost that ballooned $1.7 billion to $4.8 billion, nearly triple the original budget. It opened February 28th, 1995, 16 months behind schedule, and the delays were attributed to problems with the automated baggage system, which malfunctioned so catastrophically it has become a case study in engineering failures at business schools from Harvard to MIT. The cost overruns have never been fully accounted for, and from the moment that the first travelers walked through its halls, people began asking why an airport needed apocalyptic murals, Masonic dedicatory stones, miles of underground tunnels far exceeding any operational requirements, and a public art program that seemed designed less to welcome travelers than to unsettle them. Yeah, the murals we're gonna get into in a different article. This article has a huge section on them, but I would rather there's something else I want to show. So when we get to the murals, we're gonna go a bit of another direction with this. Denver International Airport has become the most conspiracy-dense structure in the United States, a building that generates more theories per square foot than any civilian facility on Earth. The theories range from plausible to the extreme. The DIA sits atop a vast underground complex designed as a bunker for the political and military elite in the event of global catastrophe. The airport was built by or for secret societies whose symbols are embedded throughout the architecture. As murals encode a prophetic narrative about genocide, military conquest, and the establishment of the New World Order. And the entire facility is connected to the continuity of government infrastructure centered on nearby NORAD and Cheyenne Mountain, which we have to do an entire episode just on Cheyenne Mountain. We've almost done before, and I realized it was so dense I would need more time. Some of these claims are demonstrably true. Others are speculative. The difficulty and the fascination is the DIA itself has made nearly impossible to tell which is which. So, Cindy, just hearing all that bit of a preamble there, what are your thoughts? This is really none of this ringing a bell to you. This is all new.
All new, yeah. I'm wondering if maybe this is the start of our civilization's downfall. They brought in the Denver International Airport.
Yeah, the beginning of the beginning of the end was 1995.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that they keep that they mentioned that what was it that scroll up a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, no, it was designed for the United States like Congress and everybody, as like a shelter, because that for a long time was a conspiracy theory. It was ended up being debunked as Project Greek Island, but that was the Greenbrier Resort, which was in West Virginia, and everybody thought that was a fake thing until about 1992, and then they stopped using it. And you know what year they stopped using it?
I'm gonna wager a guess and say 1995.
Yeah, well, 1994, the year they started.
Okay, 94, and this was
the year they started
95.
building the Denver airport. So it's just,
and mind you, the idea of them being like government bunkers that's not a conspiracy theory.
No.
That is fact. There are confirmed active like security and underground bunkers for high level politicians and whatnot. I don't know, all over the U.S., but they do exist. I mean, it's factually accurate that there's places in the event of like terrorist attacks and whatnot, that they actually do shuttle these politicians to. Like, first of all, there's one under the White House. I don't know how many people realize that. Yeah. There is an underground bunker beneath the White House itself. There's one at Mount Weather. There's one at Raven Rock. The NORAD Cheyenne Mountain Complex that I was referring to earlier has one, facility built into the mountains itself. So this is not like a conspiracy theory that these exist. Now, whether that's what the structures under the Denver airport are, that we will need to parse through and suss out. But the idea that these bunkers just exist for this particular reason, that is 100% verifiably true.
Oh, absolutely.
Book of Grudges with a 2-banger. Imagine having a book just about bananas. Yanni face. Shout out. Thank you for the 2-banger, homie.
I seriously hope that there's like some back and forth going on in the comments right now.
And then, Book of Bananas with the 2-banger. Imagining a book of journo liberals.
There we go.
Oh,
yes.
Yo, we got a fucking book war going on. A war of knowledge in form. I like it. Why Denver needed a new airport, or didn't? The official story begins with the problem of capacity. Stapleton International Airport, which has served Denver since 1929, was constrained. It sat on 4,600 acres of land in a residential area 6 miles east of downtown, hemmed by neighborhoods on all sides. Its runway configuration, primarily north and south, was poorly suited to Denver's prevailing crosswinds. In bad weather, capacity dropped by as much as 50%. The FAA had identified Stapleton as one of the most delay-prone airports in the national system. Denver was growing. The airport was not. Coding Bear with a 2-banger. Perfect day for Leon to play the horse song. I will play the horse song. The horse song is usually for donos of like roughly 20-ish or higher. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Coding Bear.
Oh, the horse.
Enrico Pena, who took office in 1983, made the new airport a centerpiece of his administration. Pena was the city's first Hispanic mayor, a charismatic reformer who had a campaign on the slogan, "Imagine a great city." He commissioned studies, lobbied the FAA, negotiated with Adams County, where the new site would be located, and pushed the project through a series of political and legal obstacles. In May 1989, Denver voters approved the airport by a narrow margin, 62,180 to 57,560 in a special election. The margin was less than 5,000 votes. You know what you do, good old buddy. 5,000 votes, guys. Guys, we got our boy, Jake motherfucking Martin. You know what to do, good buddy. Lucifer, this is for you. You've earned it.
Horse semen's great.
I'm digging horsecock.
Is your cock a horse cock? You will never hear me say it. Ooh, as I keep more.
My favorite stallion I keep in my top drawer kinda goes hard though.
'Cause there is no cock like horse cock. Send your asshole into shock and eat horse.
I don't know how we're going to ever top horsecock.
Shout out Lucifer and shout out Jake motherfucking Martin. Thank you so much, you absolute goddamn legends. The new airport will be built in a 53 square mile tract of empty prairie northeast of the city, far from the residential constraints that limited Stapleton. Now let's put this in perspective. The original airport was small, 4,000-ish square acres. This one is 33,000-ish square acres. That is a massive upgrade.
Yeah.
That's a huge upgrade. For what? I'm curious. Cindy, do these numbers boggle your mind at all?
I mean, like that's pretty large. I don't know. Like somebody said that in chat that they were just long hallways there. Like I've never been to the Denver airport, so I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it.
Well, and when you talk about Stapleton, so the problems with Stapleton Airport were the runways were counterintuitive directionally. So when they would get the weather, they would get, like I said, it was closed down how many days a year, just because like the runways were in a poor direction and you'd be getting too much wind resistance, too much poor weather. That's easily fixable. Like
to be fair, Stapleton did have problems. I mean, again, it was built in the 1920s. Like you said, the runways were a problem. It was on a whole lot less acreage. Like I don't actually even think that. Now, obviously, I'm no aerospace engineer or anything like that. I don't push tin. I know next to nothing about aeroplanes. That being said, I would imagine that an upgrade, a new airport in general, actually might not be out of the question. Either the construction began in the 80s. I mean, it's this one old dingy ass airport that had been built in the 20s, sitting there for 60 goddamn years. Again, Denver did grow astronomically over the course of 60 years. Denver ended up becoming, I'd argue, one of the most important cities in the U.S. Definitely like a top 10, top 20 most important city.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
a completely new airport isn't, in my opinion, out of the question on in and of itself. Now, the largest airport in the entire U.S. and second largest in the entire world in fucking Denver in the 80s and 90s. That's interesting. Construction began September 1989, and the opening was scheduled for October of 1993. The case for the new airport was reasonable on its face, but questions about the object's true purpose began almost immediately, driven by a series of decisions that made little sense if the goal was merely to replace an aging airport. The first was the size. At 33,531 acres, that is 53 square miles, DIA was allocated more land than any airport in the world needed. Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the busiest airport on Earth by passenger volume, operates on 4,700 acres. So the busiest airport in the world, not the biggest, but the busiest, has 8 times, give or take, less the acreage than this one.
And by the way, Atlanta's airport is huge.
Atlanta's airport is huge. That is very true. Dallas-Fort Worth International, the second largest airport in the United States, after the Denver airport, covers 17,000 acres. So that's still roughly half of what this is. O'Hare International Airport in Chicago, the worst fucking airport in America. Fuck O'Hare. I fucking hate this airport. It's the worst fucking airport. I've been delayed there. I've been stuck overnight there. The people are rude because, of course, they're fucking Chicagoans. It's got an unintuitive layout. It's dusty and old and musty. I fucking hate O'Hare. Anyway, one of the most complex airfields in the world, yeah, there it is, fuck O'Hare, sits on 7,627 acres. DIA was given roughly twice the land of its nearest competitor and nearly 5 times the land of the world's busiest airport. The standard explanation, room for future expansion, has been offered since the beginning. The DIA has been, so before we get further, first of all, let's address the super chat. Shout out Book of Grudges with a 5-banger. People actually care about liberal journos nexus enough to hate them. No one cares about bananas unless they are in banana bread. That is not true. Black people care about bananas. That being said, shout out. Thank you for the 5-banger, homie. Truly appreciated. So yeah, they built this airport on 52 acres. Right now, the airport takes up roughly 52 square miles of land. Right now, it takes up roughly 28 of those those miles, and they've said that hey, it's for future expansions. That's why we allocated so much acreage and mileage. How much expansion do you think they've done in that 30 years there, Cindy?
None.
Effectively none.
Yeah.
Yep. They did extend a runway to 16,000 feet, which is incredibly long. So they did do a bit of an expansion to an existing runway. There's smatterings of hotels that have popped, additional hotels and stuff that have popped up. And that's it.
Well, there's plenty of room because they, put it 25 miles or 25 minutes outside of the city.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too. Like it's it's not like, oh,
Wait, so it's not
no one thought that Denver was going to extend that far. So, it's still now, granted, you don't have to have your airport in your city. There's plenty of like Detroit Metropolitan Airport is.
Yeah.
still,
I've flown into Detroit and it also fucking sucks. Not as bad as O'Hare, but what were you about to say, Cindy?
No, I was gonna say, so wait, it's not even in Denver?
Well, most airports for big cities exist a little bit outside the city, so
Yes.
all the traffic and congestion and stuff.
Ah.
And noise, a lot like noise pollution, things like that. People don't want to hear, jet aeroplanes outside their apartments. So it's about 25 minutes outside the city, but that's how most big city airports are. That being said, there's another caveat here. So not only do they have 25 square miles left that is effectively completely underdeveloped on, of the 28 square miles it right now takes up, the whole like room for development in the future also kind of falls apart because right now they have 6 runways. They have it scaled out to where within the 28 square miles it's existing on, they could install up to 6 more. So 12 runways. 6 more runways, 12 total, and they would still be on the existing 28 square miles they're already on. That's before they get into the additional 25 square miles they haven't used yet.
That's crazy.
Like, and again, 30 years they've not even made. They've not done any of the additional 6 runways that are possibly planned for the future and have been possibly planned for the future since the inception of this airport.
Well, I wonder if there's a pattern that the runways make. Well, maybe they don't want
jump the gun on me, bitch.
Don't
jump the gun on me, bitch. But DIA has been open for 30 years and has used only a fraction of its total acreage. The remainder sits empty, fenced, patrolled, and closed to the public. No development plans for the unused land have been announced. An airport that was designed with a room to grow has, for 3 decades, not grown into the room that it was given. The second question is the cost. The original 1989 budget was $1.7 billion, already an enormous sum, roughly $4.2 billion in 2024 dollars. Yes, this article is from 2024. So to adjust for inflation, it was given roughly a little over $4 billion in today's money. By the time the DIA opened in 1995, the total cost had reached $4.8 billion, which is roughly $9.8 billion in 2024 dollars. So this motherfucker cost the equivalent of $10 billion today.
Yeah. This it's original. So it actually, it had its original amount, and then it went up by inflation to match what it would be inflated as.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were given the $1.7 billion budget in back in I guess it would have been 89. Ended up spending $4.8 billion by 1995. That is more money just in, like you were saying, in the inflation cost. It's fucking crazy. The overrun of the $3.1 billion was attributed primarily to the automated baggage system, to design changes, and to the cost of delays. But the baggage system, which will be discussed in detail below, was contracted at a worth of $193 million. Even with the overruns on the baggage system, it accounts for a small fraction of the $3.1 billion gap. The remainder has never been itemized in any public accounting with sufficient detail to determine where the money went. The city of Denver's bond disclosures for the airport show a total debt service obligations that extend for decades, but the capital expenditure breakdown that would reveal what specifically was built for $4.8 billion has not been made available in a disaggregated form. So basically, they have always said, hey, the reason went over budget is because the baggage handling system failed. And it was a catastrophic failure. We'll get into it. This was probably 100% an unplanned catastrophic failure. It's not really part of the conspiracy to be like, oh, they faked the baggage system and made it fuck up. So now they've got all this underground tunnels and land where they can put the elites. No, it really was just an engineering failure beyond our wildest dreams. But it only ended up being a failure of about an additional 400 million-ish. So why don't we know where the additional, roughly 3 billion almost went in terms of what else was it spent on? To this day, we don't know.
Yeah, no, it feels, heaven forbid I make a Batman reference. Or it was like, Bruce, you poured all this money into your house. It's still looks the same. Where'd all that money go? And you're like, I don't know. We got like a couple more shrub animals. Like, you sure you didn't spend it on a big giant cave that holds like a plane and like a crazy car and a no, it's the shrub animals.
And a giant penny. The third question was the contractors. The primary construction manager was Morrison Knudsen, a Boise, Idaho-based engineering firm with a long history of government contracts, including work on the Hoover Dam, San Francisco Bay Bridge, and notably the construction of launch facilities at Cape Canaveral and various classified military installations. The actual architectural design was led by Fentress Bradburn Architects, now just Fentress Architects, a Denver firm. But the project involved dozens of subcontractors, and it's the management of these subcontractors that attracted the most attention. Multiple construction workers interviewed over the years by local media, independent researchers, and documentary filmmakers reported that the underground portion of that project was handled with unusual security protocols. Workers described being assigned to specific sections of the underground construction and being prohibited from entering adjacent sections. Different contractors were brought in for different phases and then released before they could see how their work connected to the work of other teams. This practice, compartmentalization, is standard in classified government construction. It is the same method used in the construction of facilities at Area 51, the National Security Agency's headquarters in Fort Meade, and the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. It is not standard practice in civilian airport construction. So, Cindy, I assume you were able to follow that. You know what that meant?
No, I wasn't following that.
Okay, that's fine. What did you ever see Oppenheimer?
No.
Okay. Do you know about the construction of the atomic bomb and how they were able to keep that secret?
No.
Basically, what they did was they had every single department working on the bomb, all only working on one specific part of it,
right?
Just one little, and then that department didn't know what any of the other departments were doing. So there was only a handful, 2 or 3 people that actually knew what the overall project was, that they were effectively building the nuclear bomb. That's what they did with this airport for some reason. All the other subcontractors would just work on one little part of the airport. They were not told about other parts of the airport and were not allowed to visit other parts of the airport while it was being constructed.
That's kind of crazy.
Very strange.
What requires that level of secrecy?
And that's part of the conspiracy as to the Denver airport. We got Book of Bananas with a 5-banger. There are thousands of recipes using a variety of bananas, from food, drinks, and desserts. Unlike X's, liberals, or journos, those are actually useful. All those things you listed are also useful. They're useful for giving us, what not to do, who not to associate with. They're learning lessons. Thank you for the 5-banger, homie. Truly appreciated. Sammy, do you have any additional thoughts about the compartmentalization happening within the construction before we move on?
No, I think you nailed it, especially using the Manhattan Project as a example. It was whenever it's compartmentalized like this, it makes it very hard to be transparent on what you're doing.
Now, I actually do have one theory for the compartmentalization that has nothing to do with government stuff, and I've not seen this theory written down anywhere. I have nothing to back it go off of, aside from this was my own idea that may or may not be. If you were looking, obviously when looking at conspiracies, do we want them to be real? Well, actually, oftentimes no, because they have a lot of things to do with eating fuking children and shit that, and sacrificing babies to Moloch. But by and large, we want the truth at least to be known. So and a lot of times, you look for the most plausible explanation. So the only thing I can come up with as to why it could be compartmentalized like this is the baggage system that was going to revolutionize basically air travel, and luggage transportation, and how airports in the foreseeable future would work. This was going to be a brand new one of a kind, first of its kind system that had never been done before, and it was going to radically alter how luggage and baggage was handled at the airport level.
It just loses monumentally more baggage than any other airport combined.
Yeah, well, so if you were trying to keep that secret from maybe your competitors and wanted to be the very first to reveal this radical new technology, maybe I don't know if you can patent stuff like that. I don't know. The point is, if you want to be the first to do this, you don't want these contractors or whatnot getting out and leaking the information to other competing companies. That would be my only guess.
I like that guess too. Another thing is this was a not government, but this is like Denver's project. You do contract out a lot of those things, and you have to put in bids. So I mean, if they did it in phases, I could understand why it's so compartmentalized. I mean, that's
well, the compartmentalization, if you're saying in terms of doing it in phases, that would also make sense. But the secrecy of like, hey, you are not allowed to go to these other sections,
absolutely,
that's the weird part. And the only thing I could think of, if it's not like government shady military bunker stuff, is that maybe it was purely for the financial reason of, we don't want our secret getting out because we want to revolutionize this technology.
Yeah, I like that.
But again, I haven't seen anyone bring that up in any of the research we did as a viable theory as to why the compartmentalization was there. So it purely is just like my own logical explanation that maybe there is no logic to it, because I don't actually know how this sort of stuff works.
There's so many jokes I want to make, but we haven't gotten to this stuff yet. So,
Book of Bananas, the two banger. Denver is rumored to be a strategic military point, and yeah, it actually, Denver would be a strategic military point because it has such natural protection from the Rocky Mountains. So I mean, yeah, Denver is like, it's high altitude. It's the weather is unpredictable. You got the Rocky Mountains, so yeah, Denver is a strategic point, absolutely. The baggage system, which is the cover story's cover story. The automated baggage handling system at DIA has become one of the most studied failures in the history of an engineering project management. It is designed by Bay Automated Systems, a subsidiary of Bay Systems, to be the most advanced airport baggage system in the world. A network of 4,000 telecars running on 22 miles of track designed to transport luggage from check-in counters to aircraft gates and back without any human intervention. The system was supposed to eliminate delays, lost luggage bags, and labor costs associated with conventional baggage handling. So again, this is a very lofty idea just from a purely mechanical and business standpoint before we get into any sort of like conspiracy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It never worked. From the first day of testing, the telecars jammed, misrouted bags, shredded luggage, and crashed into each other. Clothing was torn apart. Bags were flung off the track. The system mangled suitcases with such consistency, the United Airlines, the primary tenant, just refused to use it. The opening of the airport was delayed 4 times from October 1993 to December 1993 to March 1994 to May 1994, and finally to February of 1995, with each delay officially attributed to the baggage system. The delay costs an estimated $1.1 million per day in bond interest and operational expenses. A conventional baggage backup system had to be installed at additional cost. The automated system was never made fully operational. In August of 2005, United Airlines finally abandoned it entirely, replacing it with a conventional tug and cart system at a cost of $49 million. The most expensive airport baggage system ever built was used for 10 years, never functioned designed, and was ultimately ripped out and replaced with the technology it was supposed to supersede.
Oof.
That is, again, that is a catastrophic engineering failure. And that presents you with 2 options. One, was it really just that badly designed and fucked up and the technology wasn't there yet, or wasn't intentional? I actually don't think it was intentional. I think this is just they bit off more than they could chew.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then they're just going to be like, no, this is working as intended.
I like to think it was just like some elderly engineer who was just like, that was like his last project. And he's just like, he finishes it. And then he's like on his deathbed, like, I changed the world. I did it. And then everyone knows that it's just like this multi-million-dollar fuck up. But they're just like, you did. You could just
excellent job, Terry. You can rest easy now.
I did something.
You're not far off with it being like an individual screw up sort of being the case. It was not the lead engineer's fault. The architectural blueprint, and I don't know if this is in any of the articles, so if we end up covering it twice, my bad. But the architectural blueprint for how they wanted the airport to be set up and whatnot was already pre-designed, and so when they gave it to the engineer to say now install this luggage system, he already had to work within the constraints of this is the way you guys have designed it. I have to work within that rather than him being able to engineer it and then them build around his idea. So basically they did it completely ass backwards. Book of Bananas with a 2-banger. I never said that. You take that back, Grudges. Oh, did I miss one?
Yeah.
Missed one.
Oh, Book of Grudges with a 5-banger. Takes notes. Eric claims to be a Somali recipe book. You really went in over here, bud. And then he says, I never said that. You take that back, Grudges. This is fantastic. Shout out. You guys are legends. The baggage system failure is thoroughly documented. It was the subject of a 1996 case study by the Callium Consulting, a detailed post-mortem by Harvard Business School, and a chapter in W. Henry Lambright's analysis of large-scale engineering projects. The causes are well understood. The system was designed by a subcontractor who was brought in late, given unrealistic timelines, and asked to automate an airport whose physical layout had already been finalized without input from the baggage system engineers. It was, by every account, a genuine engineering disaster. And see, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like it wasn't the subcontractor who came in with the idea to do the engineering's fault, because he had everything working against him. But the baggage system also served a second function, less discussed but equally important. It had provided an all-purpose explanation for everything that is strange about the DIA's construction. Cost overruns, baggage system. Delays, the baggage system. Underground construction, the baggage system needs tunnels. The 16-month postponement of opening, the baggage system. The $3.1 billion in unexplained spending, mostly the baggage system. The baggage system has become the narrative equivalent of a load-bearing wall. Or remove it from the explanation, and the official story collapses under the weight of questions it was supporting. And that's why you've got, before we even get into the crazy shit like the lizard men, that's why you've got this conspiracy theory, because every single thing that you could ask, at least the normal stuff. Now, when you got like space aliens under the base, that's okay. Yeah, the fucking baggage system ain't got nothing to do with that. But the relatively normal surface level conspiracies, they don't work without the baggage system being a failure, and that is very interesting, especially when you consider the, again, nearly $2 billion, or at least $1.5 billion in overages that can't be accounted for by the baggage system.
Yeah.
The problem with the cost narrative is arithmetic. Bay Automated System contract was $193 million. Even with overruns, charge orders, and the cost of backup system, baggage-related expenses account for $300 to $400 million of the total overrun. That leaves roughly $2.7 billion in cost increases that were not caused by the baggage system and have not been attributed to any specific line item in any public document. The baggage system was a real failure. It was also conveniently a failure so spectacular it has absorbed all the oxygen in the room, leaving no public attention to question what other money was spent on.
Yeah, $2.7 billion is not like a slight oversight.
Yeah, right. If someone lost me $2,700, I'd be like, hey, what the fuck's happening here?
Yeah.
$2.7 billion?
Yeah, but that's pocket change to these weirdos.
Well, especially pocket change to the politicians that run the world economy, and they can just sort of make money appear and disappear at will.
That's what I mean.
Okay, gotcha.
Generational wealth, like $2.7 billion is like generational debt.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
The Capstone and the New World Airport Commission. On March 19th, 1994, a Saturday, a Masonic cornerstone laying ceremony was held at the Denver International Airport. By the way, this is not conspiracy. This did factually happen.
Yes,
a Masonic cornerstone laying ceremony was held at the Denver International Airport. The ceremony was conducted by Grand Lodge of Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons, Colorado, in accordance with Masonic tradition dating back centuries. It was not secret. It was photographed, attended by dignitaries, and covered by local media. The evidence of its occurrence is not buried in classified archives. It's embedded in the floor of the airport's Great Hall, where it can be seen by any of the 70 million passengers who pass through the DIA each year. The capstone is a large slab of polished granite, approximately 4 feet by 3 feet, 3 feet, set in the floor between Jepson Terminal's north and south wings. Its inscriptions are precise and specific. The top, an engraved Masonic square and compass, the universal emblem of Freemasonry, flanked by 2 smaller symbols below in capital letters. And we will pull up an image of the Masonic capstone. Give me one moment here. Let's see. Denver International Airport. Open image, a new tab, and bingo, bango, bongo. This is what is encased in the floor. In the floor.
Yeah, that's
Denver
crazy.
National Airport, World Web, mayor, governor. We've got again the Masonic symbols. Look, this on its own isn't really that weird. It's strange, but like it's not out of the realm of normalcy, possibility. It's sort of when you add everything else to the equation and things start looking a little odd. What about you, Sammy? What are your thoughts on the capstone?
I mean, a lot of important buildings have them. It's no secret that the Freemasons are a wildly popular group in this country. A lot of our founders, had it. I know a couple of like Freemasoners, and I don't seem like normal guys. It's just like it's one of those clubs too where there's a rumored upper echelon that seems to be problematic, but it's just like the Shriners, right? Like they've been around forever. It's not that out of the ordinary, but yes, when you get to talking about all the other weird shit that happens, and you're like, oh, and the Freemasons are involved, that makes sense. Like on its head, it's fine. But when you start looking at the bigger picture, then you're like, okay, well, I knew if there was going to be weird shit that the Freemasons would be involved.
The most worshipful? Oh, I'm cutting out.
Huh? Cutting out.
No, it was Leon again.
Oh, okay.
Coding Bear for a 2-banger. Still cheaper and more useful than Newscome's train. That is true. Shout out. Billy Aoki for
yeah.
$2.98. Interesting. Baggage mishandling system. Yes, it was. Shout out to the 5 jewels. They're a treat. Thank you. Book of Grudges with a 5-banger. Did that offend you, Eric? Struck a chord? Well, getting your Book of Grudges. Well played. And thank you for the jewels. Book of Bananas, the 5-banger. I have no such book. I enjoy to choke my enemies with a variety of bananas. I am no scorned woman or want to be a woman. Shout out. You guys are absolutely killing it. Don't
He's the holder of the banana. Of course he doesn't want to be a woman.
So contributors: Martin Marietta Aeronautics, Fincher's Bradburn Architects, Zimmerman Metals, and below the contributors, the dedication. This capstone was laid on March 19, 1994 by the Grand Lodge of AF and AM of Colorado. Most worshipful brother Benjamin H. Bell Jr., Grand Master. Most worshipful brother William E. Robb, past Grand Master. Beneath the capstone, a time capsule was sealed. Its contents to be opened on the airport centennial in 2094. The contents of the time capsule have never been publicly disclosed. I am actually truly curious what this is. I wish that I don't know if I'll live to be 100, but if I do, I want to know what's in this fucking time capsule.
Yeah. I would like to think there's a Tamagotchi in there.
Sion, there's nothing true. We got confirmation Crunchyroll. Yes, we do have confirmation of that. That's literally what my video is going to be about for tomorrow. Yeah, I've already got everything all laid out to talk about the Crunchyroll situation in a dedicated video tomorrow. Hypno. Shout out, thank you. Every element of this inscription invites inquiry, but one dominates all the others. New World Airport Commission. Yes. This is the name engraved on the dedicated stone of a major American airport above Masonic symbols placed during a Masonic ceremony. And this organization does not appear in the public record. It is not listed in the Colorado Secretary of State's database of registered entities. It does not appear in the Denver City Charter, the City Council minutes, or the records of the Denver Department of Aviation. No articles of incorporation have ever been found, no bylaws, no membership roster, no meeting minutes, no letterhead, no tax filings, no officers or directors have been identified, no actions by the commission before or after the capstone dedication have ever been documented. Now, this is where we start to get into like the meat of these conspiracy theories. New World Airport Commission is on the capstone, and yet it is not in any way, shape, or form a recognized or acknowledged group. There's no trails or paper trails or anything to lead back to it. That is weird. I don't really know what to say. That's weird.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Wait, you said there's no paper trail?
There's so right here under the Freemason, under the Masonic symbol, New World Airport Commission, and there is, again, as this article says, It does not appear in the city charter. It is not in the public record, not listed as Colorado Secretary of State's database of registered entities, not in the Denver City Charter. There is no city council minutes, no records of the Denver Department of Aviation, no articles of incorporation, no bylaws, no membership roster, no meeting minutes, no letterhead, no tax filings, no officers or directors being identified, no actions by the commission before or after the capstone dedication has ever been documented. It's like they existed just for this Masonic ceremony, and then was never seen or heard from again.
Yeah, actually, when you Google New World Airport Commission, the only things that really come up are just articles about the Denver airport.
Yeah, but this isn't due to open until 2094, so maybe it doesn't exist yet.
No. The time capsule is not due to open until 1994.
Yeah.
However,
Capstone.
the laying.
No, I
What do you
know
mean?
that, but maybe they don't exist yet because they want to exist a little closer to 2094.
Hold on, calm down. Wait a second. So you're hoping that they made this capstone in hopes that one day the New World Airport Commission will form?
Well, think about it. What do we have going on in the real world right now? Like, who's to say they can't do that? They're already changing history. Like, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Cindy never change.
So yeah. Also, to be fair, we're not saying it's out of the realm of possibility. We're saying
No.
that's arguably even scarier.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like you took it to a way darker place.
Yeah, like
you were going just
our
like,
whole thing
hey,
is,
that's kind of
there was this
weird.
secret society that existed for all of just the time to place this capstone. You're like, no. There's gonna be a future New World Order of airplanes. And, like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's 2094 doomsday. Well, to be fair, here's how I know. This is my own personal conspiracy theory. Here's how I know that the world isn't coming to an end anytime soon. They keep putting out release dates for Marvel movies. And I mean that. We've got a multi-billion-dollar movie industry controlled by the Jews and Disney, and they keep giving us release dates for movies further and further into the future. So I know that as long as we've got dates for those movies, that we're at least going to make it to that time because they need to make all that money. So that is my internal theory as to how we know that the world is not quite coming to the brink yet.
Look, we can't bomb Mecca. Secret Wars comes out that
Yeah, right, exactly. When reporters and researchers have asked airport officials about the New World Airport Commission, the answers have been vague and inconsistent. Some officials have described it as an ad hoc group of local business leaders and civic boosters assembled for the airport opening. Others have described it as a promotional committee. In 2007, DIA spokesperson Jenny Chavone told a reporter that the commission was a group of local business people who wanted to promote the new airport. She did not provide names, dates, or any documentation. No former member of the commission has ever been identified by name or come forward publicly. And the phrase New World Airport Commission contains, whether by design or coincidence, an unmistakable echo of New World Order, a term with a specific history in conspiracy research. George H.W. Bush used the phrase New World Order in the speech to Congress on September 11th, 1990, describing the geopolitical landscape after the fall of the Soviet Union. The term was already laden with conspiratorial associations dating back to H.G. Wells' 1940 book, The New World Order, and its use in John Birch society literature in the 60s and 70s. Capstone was laid in 94, during the peak of post-Cold War New World Order discourse. Whether the name was chosen with awareness of these associations or an obliviousness to them, the effect is the same. A Masonic dedication stone in the floor of a major airport bears the name of an organization that does not exist, using words that echo the most persistent conspiracy theory of the 20th century. It's so weird. It's an airport, guys.
It's so strange.
The Masonic involvement itself, as noted, is not unprecedented. George Washington laid the cornerstone of the U.S. Capitol in a Masonic ceremony on September 18th, 1793, wearing a Masonic apron and wielding a ceremonial trowel. The cornerstone of the Washington Monument was laid by the Grand Lodge of District of Columbia in 1848. The Statue of Liberty's cornerstone was laid by Freemasons in 1884. These ceremonies occurred in the 18th and 19th centuries, when Freemasonry was a central institution of American civic life, and cornerstone ceremonies were standard practice for major public buildings. By 1994, the practice had become rare. The decision to hold a Masonic ceremony for a late 20th century airport and to permanently embed the evidence of that ceremony in the airport's floor was not a continuation of tradition. It was a revival of one, and the decision to revive it at DIA, of all places, has never been adequately explained. And that's one of the things about this conspiracy theory that is so interesting to me. We like Sammy said, like the article said, these Masonic ceremonies are actually part of old world American custom, and they have been done for like public buildings of historical note. Again, things like the Statue of Liberty, the Washington Monument. Now you can make the argument, I guess, that the largest airport in the country is also deserving of that.
I
But
mean, there's probably not a major city in the United States that doesn't have some form of a Masonic temple building. You know what I mean? It
Right.
was just, I think a lot of these, they just do it to almost to give it like legitimacy. You know, it was like, it was
But
like,
again,
oh, well, our
does
building
it give
has
it
a.
legitimacy if it's a practice that had largely been abandoned in like the fucking time of Abe Lincoln?
No, I mean, because there's still, like I said, it's still out in practice. I mean, and at the time, the people building these things, like they might have not been Freemasons themselves, but their grandfathers were, and they were like, hey, let's get a capstone on there. You know what I mean? Like, you have to understand this. If I built a building and they'd be like, hey, do you want a Freemasons capstone on there? I really don't give a shit. But 40 years ago, I might have been like, oh yeah, hell yeah, that'll look cool. People, you know what I mean? So I could understand the mentality of it. It's still fucking weird.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up. One additional detail among the contributors listed on the capstone is Martin Marietta Aeronautics, a major defense contractor that in 1985 merged with Lockheed Corporation from Lockheed Martin, the largest defense contractor in the world. The presence of a defense contractor's name on a dedicatory stone of a civilian airport is, like everything else at DIA, susceptible to two interpretations. Martin Marietta contributed funding to the airport project. Plausible. Defense contractors often invest in local infrastructure near their own facilities. Or the presence of a weapons manufacturer on the cornerstone of DIA reflects something about the airport's actual purpose that the civilian designation does not capture. Now, I actually don't know what to think about this one because, like it says, it could go either way. NORAD is about 90 miles from here. Obviously, Lockheed Martin going to have a lot of entanglements with NORAD. Does this airport also, like, would they, like this says, that this major defense funding contractor just donate money because, hey, it's good for their PR, good for their public image? That absolutely seems plausible. It really does. But also, you've got 25 square miles of unused land, underground tunnels, and like no explanation of where $2.7 billion went. It starts to become a lot weirder when you put all that together.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And I don't have an answer for it, mind you. I don't. I'm not going to definitively say, oh yeah, Lockheed Martin's using this airport for something shady. I just don't know.
It's like we keep saying, one of these things by themselves, you're just kind of like whatever. But when you start to get all of these things in one central location, you can't help but go like, okay, like what's really going on? It was like if I saw like my my parents like talking with my aunts and uncles, and they're talking to my wife, and like a couple of my cousins, and like everybody's involved in this conversation but me. I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers are throwing me a surprise party. You have to. It was like if I just saw my dad and my aunt talking, I would be like, hey, no big.
Yeah, that would be a conspiracy. They would be literally conspiring a group of people to do something. Again, like conspiracy is not a dirty word. We need to keep reminding people of this because people who plan surprise parties are conspiring to do something for the person the surprise is for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm saying if I just saw my dad talking to my aunt alone, not suspicious. Now, if I see them all kind of congregating and they're not talking to me, and I'm not involved, kind of suspicious. It's kind of like the Denver airport where we're just like, okay, the capstone thing. Okay, the $2.7 billion going missing. Okay, there's this defense contractor, and we also have these underground tunnels that aren't spoken for. Then eventually you're going to have to go, what's going on here?
So go back to Jake's most recent comment, if you'd be so kind there, Cindy. Read this for me.
Maybe there's a cherry mural inside the airport that can put this idle speculation to bed.
It's almost like he segued into the next topic for us. Now,
oh my god.
I intentionally went to just a random person's blog, a conspiracy loon. This is Don't Be Fooled 666's blog.
Oh boy.
Evil Murals, Denver International Airport. This was published March 20th, 2010. The kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and every slave and every free man hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us. Not long after the Lord made this scripture more vivid to me by causing me to see that hidden caves was not only natural caves, but also man-made caves and bunkers. I ran across theories about Denver International Airport, and they were really frightening. It's widely rumored that our shadow government, the elites, had constructed a massive bunker to serve as a control and command structure during some kind of disaster. Just disturbing and perplexing is the artwork in the airport. Here are pictures of the statue of a few of the murals. So we got Lucifer here. Then we got this motherfucker.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Gay Nazis!
I never would have thought gay. Like, you're right. The rainbow. Not okay. Gay Nazis. That works. This is a close-up picture of what's under the sword. I was once a little child who longed for other worlds, but I am no more a child, for I have known fear. I have learned to hate. How tragic then is youth, which lives with enemies, with gallows and ropes. Yet I still believe I only sleep today that'll wake me up, a child again, and start to laugh and play. All right.
Enjoy your flight.
Wow.
What the fuck are we doing? This
The
is
children
the
of the world
craziest
dream
one.
in peace.
This one's even crazier. And the rainbow is connected
To the Nazi!
Oh yeah.
my
Oh,
goodness.
there's Nazi stuff
Oh
there,
my
Cindy.
gosh.
Don't worry. Don't you worry.
Do y'all notice these little flags here?
Yeah.
Yeah, but look what's at the warm little center of this mural there, Leon.
See, let's just see if I can open this image and everything that way you guys can
You know what I'm
truly
talking about?
appreciate it. Hold on a sec. There we go.
Who are they all clamoring around? Oh, who are they all hugging? Is the blonde-haired, blue-eyed child.
A black woman? An old black woman?
No. At
Right here, Cindy.
right here. They're all
Oh, I thought
focusing-
you were circling
they're
the
all
little
the
black
center
thing
of
in front
attention. They're all giving their praise to the blonde-haired, blue-eyed little child. The
This is why they
Aryan,
want you
if
to
you
open
will.
their borders.
And then we've got this one here in peace and harmony with nature.
Yep. There's also go to the bottom. Those are kids in caskets.
Oh yeah. You got kids in caskets on sides. Yup. You got the buffalo head. The bird has been caged. The forests are burning. Freaking penguin stuck in a glass cage. This is a menagerie of, and again, this artwork is weird.
This in no way makes me want to go on an airplane.
Here's more on the subject. Alex Christopher's interpretation. To be honest, I was very concerned at the things that are being said in connection with the Denver International Airport. I did not find any explanation by the artist in the meaning of the murals. It seems that people are using their own imaginations to interpret the pictures, as they're really coming up with some scary allegations. But as I was looking closer to these pictures just now, while writing this post, I believe I understand the artist's message, and it's far different than what people are saying. I find some of the things worrisome, if they are true. But the meaning I had read in the murals is not sinister. It is new agey and all, but I did not read the same evil intent that people attributing to them. Please see my 1/12/11 update at the bottom of the page. After learning more, I revised my beliefs on this. So just know that what he's about to say are opinions he no longer now holds. It does show a hope for a Messiah, the German boy. We all know, unfortunately, be the Antichrist. Here's how I read them. First mural, war, depicted by a horrific-looking Nazi, is killing peace. I see weeping women, children, and elderly refugees. I see homes destroyed. I see little orphan child and babies. I see no men, and only very young boys. Is this a scene of sorrow and destruction? Dead babies? Maybe the first one, but not all of them. Second mural, war is dead. The children of every nation, no hatred of Jews here, Israel is represented too, are giving their swords to a German boy with an iron fist who is beating them into plowshares. To me, this is a symbol of him being a world leader who brings peace, a Messiah. Unfortunately, we know the first Messiah to appear will be the Antichrist. The third mural, I see a nearby city and a forest being burned for farmland. I see people very upset over animals that have gone extinct. The buffalo, the whale, some type of leopard, ivory tusk, sea turtle caught in a gill net, endangered animals protected in cases, Quetzal emperor penguin, passenger pigeon, all people in graves. They've been eliminated by genocide. Jews, Native Americans, Rwandans. The fourth mural, the endangered animals have been restored. The children of the world are all fed, clothed, and happy. The land has been restored. The city is burning. I'm not sure what they are gathered around. Maybe a symbol of the spirit of earth. So my opinion is that the paintings depict the hopes and dreams of people who believe that the powerful delusion, New Age religion, false messiah, while the delusion is evil, I don't believe it's depicted in the murals comes from evil intent. This leads me to wonder how much the rest particular conspiracy theory is baloney. But then, with what I've recently learned about the changes that are happening in our solar system and with the sun, I do believe the elites have constructed a control and command structure underneath the Denver airport. I recently learned the mural artist Leo Tanguma now has a website showcasing many of his works and includes an interpretation of his In Peace and Harmony in Nature mural, and it can be seen at this website here. There's a box where you can click more information under the first picture. Here's a bit of commentary on Blue Mustang. Now the mistakes make me wonder if the folks at DIA just like the attention. Another monolithic sculpture just been installed in one of the Egyptian god of the dead. So after all that, after all the murals and Lucifer, they also installed Anubis himself, god of the dead, outside the airport.
My wife just scared the shit out of me.
A hand out of the darkness.
Love you too.
Aww.
My soul just left my body. And then I looked at her and I went, what? And she's like, I was like, oh, thanks. Now I feel like shit.
Where were we at? Here it is. Some people are making claims the third mural above foretells the BP oil spill. I strongly disagree. I do believe the fire shows the burning of tropical forest to create more farmland, hence the adjoining farmland of the mural. My best guess is the red water is the red tide algae bloom as a result of pollution coming from the nearby metropolitan area. Some people are saying the BP oil spill was deliberate. I say check out my post. Coincidence? Sabotage? Who could gain the most? And he does, in fact, have a blog post about he having no proof of anything, merely speculating, but why he thinks the BP oil spill was intentional. To me, that is fucking crazy. I do not believe the BP oil spill is intentional in any way, shape, or form, but I could be wrong. More info today regarding the fact that New Age religion is what is practiced by the elites. As it turns out, New Age beliefs, when held by powerful people, can be very dangerous for the rest of us. Here's a link to the broadcast on another site. Starting at 44 minutes, the speaker tells the New Age beliefs and the elites subscribe to and how it relates to us. We will check that out for just a moment.
Survive to thrive.
Your new year with a
Previous life. Positive.
Shit.
Is it possible, my friends, transition and transcend into the world before the program is over and talk about another topic that we are actually already on, but I want to look at it from a different standpoint. Now, we have been talking about the New World Order, and I want to share something about the New World Order. The New World Order, as I explained earlier, is a region of nations that is going to come together in the final passage of time, according to the book of Revelation. Now, in addition to the New World Order coming together geographically, I want to talk about the spiritual aspect of it. Now, I know that there are many voices out there that talk about the New World Order a lot, and they mention the players of the New World Order, meaning the heads of nations and the people behind the scenes, the elite bankers, the businessmen, and the people that are members of different groups that want to see this thing happen, like the Bilderberg Group or Bohemian Grove or the Council on Foreign Relations. Well, in addition to those individuals, I want to talk about why some people want the New World Order to happen. Now, the New World Order is not just a geopolitical idea. And the New World Order is not an idea that's just been around for the last few decades. The New World Order is actually an idea that has been talked about for almost 100 years. The New World Order has been around since back then. And the New World Order is not just geopolitical idea. The New World Order is actually a religion.
I agree with that. Actually, it is a religion. These people.
That's something that many people do not realize, or even most people didn't even know. The New World Order is related to a different category of expectant events in the next few years. What am I talking about? This is what I mean, folks. The New World Order is related to the New Age movement. The New Age movement goes back to the late 1800s. And the New Age movement has some core beliefs. This is what it's about. The New Age movement believes that the earth and the inhabitants of the earth collectively go through different ages here on the earth. And for the past 2,000 years and some change, the earth has been in the age of the fish, Pisces. But now the earth is about to have a transition and transcend into the age of Aquarius. And when the earth transcends into the age of Aquarius, then the earth is going to experience some very spiritual events, because the people that believe in the New Age movement are not traditional, fundamental followers of God. Meaning,
here's the thing. I actually do agree with this in a sense. I like the way he's positioning it and explaining it, but I do agree in that we have seen a lot of global and societal restructuring, trying to force us to believe lies, trying to force us to believe things that aren't true. Oh, you could just change your fucking gender. And they treat it as a religion. If you disagree with their religion, it's no different than the religious fundamentalism of Muslims. If you disagree with the fact that men can't become women and women can't become men, we're going to socially ostracize you and effectively give you a social death. It very much is a religion. And you don't actually need the conspiracy theory and New World Order stuff, whatnot. Like, you don't need like a one world government sort of conspiracy to agree that this is being peddled and it is treated like a religion. Transhumanism. Exactly, Rudo. Correct. So I don't know. Before we go further, I don't know if you guys had any thoughts on that.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I just hate it.
Yeah.
The Nazi agenda will conquer through conventional warfare, biowarfare, and Muslim versus Christian violence. Is that what this mural foretells? Is that what ISIS and the Ebola epidemic are about? Just tools of the Nazis to help their takeover? Is there a way of taking credit for what's going on? Adults will be taken away. Only orphans will remain. Other murals portray a new world populated only with children. Now, again, all these murals individually are they're weird. It's definitely not something I would put in a fucking airport. Like you said, Sammy, enjoy your flight.
Yeah.
But why? Like, why would you put evidence like this out in the open for people to notice? There's an argument to be made for, well, if you hide something in plain sight, people won't notice it because that's what hidden in plain sight is. But this just seems too blatant.
Yeah.
What's the best way to hide something? I mean, it kind of makes sense.
But it's also so you commissioned an artist to do this, right? They did this, and then everyone was just like, yeah, we should just definitely put this on the walls in our airport. Like, no one was like, I have a couple gripes with, like, shouldn't it just be something a little bit more, I don't know, airplane related and happy and like, nah, you uncultured swine.
Fucking Nazis and burning forests. Like,
yeah, dead babies and buffalo heads.
The DIA launches an ad campaign addressing the conspiracy theories surrounding it. Now, here's my favorite part. Here's where this is a conspiracy about the conspiracy. So we're getting double layers here. The Denver International Airport is removing its Great Hall with marketing campaign that parodies the various theories surrounding the DIA. Here's a look at the bizarre ad campaign. By the way, it's worth noting, all those murals, the ones that we've just been talking about for the last 20-ish minutes, are gone now. They were removed from the airport during its 2018 remodeling, and after the remodel, they were not brought back.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yep.
Wait, what'd you say?
All the murals, the ones we were just going over, actually got removed in 2018 due to a 2018 remodeling, and they were not brought back.
Are the gargoyles still there?
I do believe the gargoyles are still there. I could be wrong, but I believe the gargoyles are still there.
Oh, yeah, Cindy, there's gargoyles.
What? So, the Denver International Airport is renovating its Great Hall. Oh, yeah, I just read that. One of the first articles published on the site was The Sinister Sights, Denver International Airport, which explained the bizarre history, the creepy works, and art found at the DIA. 10 years later, people are still wondering why the airport is so weird and where there are miles of underground tunnels underneath it. Instead of explaining why they hid the questions, the DIA launched a marketing campaign ridiculing the theories around it. On the airport's official website, a section entitled DIN Files addresses the various theories associated with the DIA. Of course, ridiculous additions are mixed in for serious questions to discredit everything. The conspiracy wall on the DIA's official website. The website says, you may or may not have heard, DIN's got some secrets. Since the airport's opening in 1995, there have been endless rumors and theories. People say our underground tunnels lead to secret meeting facilities for the world's elite, or the Blue Horse is thought to be cursed. Some believe we are connected to that New World Order and the Freemasons. Some people even say that we are home to the colony of lizard people. Here's the full scoop on DIN's wildest rumors. The airport was built by the New World Order. Naturally, people think this is because a dedication marker and plaques around the airport claim is funded by the New World Airport Commission. Never heard of them? Don't feel left out. Seems no one has. After some digging, it was discovered no such group exists. Not now, not when the airport was built, not ever. So rather than writing it off as nothing, people have jumped to the conclusion that this is actually a group within the New World Order. Sketchy, sketchy. The airport contains the Illuminati headquarters. Remember those plaques we just talked about? Well, there's one placed over a time capsule that also has a Masonic square, a compass symbol, and an inscription that gives the time capsule's contents to the people of Colorado 2094. All the symbols of Freemasonry, and yes, Illuminati. In case it isn't enough, the date of the airport's dedication is March 19th, 1994. And if you add those numbers together, you get 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 4. You get 33, the highest level one can achieve in Freemasonry. Perfection. Additionally, the airport building costs are more expensive than originally thought. Theorists believe this money went into building the headquarters. Rumor has it they screwed up the first few buildings, and instead of getting rid of them, they buried them and built on top of them to make one super cool, super secret underground lair. The artwork contains clues to the apocalypse. You've seen them. You've given them many confused looks, wondering why. How? What? Really? They're interesting pieces of art decorating the airport, the glaring gargoyle sculptures, the big blue horse sculpture, and perhaps most notably, the 28-foot wide murals. It's theorized that these clues to sinister influence the airport, the aforementioned Freemasons, Illuminati, and New World Order. The blue horse's glowing eyes are often interpreted as reference to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Plus, its creator, Luis Jimenez, died while making it. Speaking of the apocalypse, we're ready for it. In addition to the Illuminati HQ, it's rumored there are several underground baggage tunnels just waiting to house the world's elite when the world comes to an end. Lizard people, aka reptoids, and evidence of aliens are also thought to be down there. Apparently, they've been drawing on the walls. Silly aliens. Stop your graffiti. This was the official acknowledgement put out by the airport itself, what I just read to you.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
They also did a thing where they had like a mechanical gargoyle and it would like talk shit to people as they were
So during the reconstruction, they would put out images like these, cool new areas to hang out, or Area 52. This was like to cover the construction that was happening behind the walls, what's happening behind this wall. And it's got the gargoyle under construction or underground tunnels. The airport actually had these installed during the renovation in 2018.
That's hilarious.
The campaign is somehow reminiscent of Taco Bell's Belluminati ads, which ridiculed conspiracies about the dollar bill, although they're factually true. It appears to follow the same recipe, distorting theories to the point they become ridiculous, then to make fun of that distortion they've created. While the DIA's campaign about the massive renovations taking place in its Great Hall, there's clearly a conscious effort to dispel the various theories that have been circulating for years. Instead of making fun of people for wanting to understand the art inside the buildings, they fund and use about how explaining them is rational matter, just like explain the mural, explain why it made it inside an airport. So basically what this article is trying to say from Vigilant Citizen is that they basically ran an entire ad campaign during the reconstruction to make you feel dumb for questioning the conspiracies about it, and that this is another layer of a cover-up.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Like, it seems like a lot of work to try and dispel the conspiracy theories that are, of course, going to happen anyway. It's been nearly 10 years since the renovation, and we're still on here talking about it right now.
No, but it does feel like, like step 2 of 3, or no, step 2 of 4, in like how like the press like dismisses things,
Yes, yeah. When it comes to when it comes to doing psyops. Like this ad campaign would be a psyop to get you to stop questioning the Denver airport.
Well, yeah, because the first one, like, oh, it's not happening. The second one, like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist if it's happening. The third one's like,
well, it's happening, and it's a good thing.
Yes, and then obviously, like, it's happened.
So we're gonna go back to this article now that we've gotten through the murals, because it had a long section on the murals. All right, the gargoyles. The murals are the most prominent elements of DIA's art program, but they're not only what comes the only ones that have attracted scrutiny. The airport contains a density of unusual symbolic and artistic elements that, taken together, create what researchers have called a symbolic field, a built environment saturated with imagery that operates on multiple levels simultaneously. 2 gargoyle sculptures by artist Terry Allen sit inside the suitcases that protrude from the walls near the airport's baggage claim area on level 5. The gargoyles, grotesque medieval-style figures with horns, claws, and leering expressions, peer out from half-open luggage. Watching passengers collect their bags, gargoyles in the European architectural tradition served a dual function. They were waterspouts designed to channel the rainwater away from building walls. They were epitropic guardians, figures placed on churches and cathedrals to ward off evil spirits. Their presence on the sacred buildings was not decorative, but protective, rooted in a theology that took the reality of demonic forces seriously. Their placement in an airport baggage claim operates as either whimsy or invocation, depending on the interpretive framework applied. If DIA is simply an airport, the gargoyles are a charming artistic conceit. Monsters in suitcases, a visual joke about the horrors of airline travel. If DIA is, as some researchers have argued, a modern temple, a structure built according to principles derived from the tradition of sacred architecture, the gargoyles serve exactly the function they served on the Gothic cathedrals. They're guardians of the threshold, a place the boundary between the sacred interior and profane exterior. The fact that passengers do not recognize the building as a temple does not, in the esoteric tradition, diminish the function of the guardians. It enhances it. The most effective sacred architecture in Freemasonry tradition is architecture whose sacred function is invisible to the uninitiated. So, the argument being made here is that a guy that just be whimsical fun, guardians and gargoyles in suitcases, or that they literally are protections against the outside forces. This is the one that I don't think makes sense to me. To me, this just seems like, yeah, it's probably just some fun little art on the wall.
I agree. It's the one that has like the least amount of like symbolism to where, like, this wouldn't be the first time I've seen gargoyles on things other than a church,
Right. There's the children's show, Gargoyles. Like that show wasn't a psyop to try and make us like less desensitized to gargoyles or anything like that. No, it was just like one of the best children's shows out there, rivaling Batman the Animated Series.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Cindy, and chat. Obviously, give me your thoughts. But the gargoyles on the wall, to me, that just seems like fun, whimsical art.
I think that's fair.
Okay,
yeah, no, I'm here. Sorry, no, I think that's fair. But I don't know. I think it's just kind of sus that they took the murals down.
I don't know if they took them because the murals were huge. They're like 18 feet or something like that each one. So they were doing reconstruction on the interior, and the wall length changed. Like, let's say they went from 18 feet of wall to 15 feet or even larger, 22 feet. Well, the murals just wouldn't look good there anymore because it's not occupying the same level of real estate.
Fair enough.
Again, that would just be like if we had to find a logical correlation. Now, I haven't been back to the Denver airport since those murals were taken down, so I don't know what that area was reconstructed to look like. But the floor of the Great Hall contains a series of symbols and inscriptions embedded in the stonework. The letters AUAG appear on the inlaid floor in a decorative cartouche.
Silver and gold.
Yep. AU and AG are the chemical symbols for gold and silver, respectively derived from the Latin aurum and argentum. The airport has started with the symbols reference Colorado's mining heritage, and this explanation is plausible. Colorado's economy was built on precious metal mining. Gold and silver are foundational to the state's identity. But researchers have noted an additional reading. AUAG has been interpreted as an abbreviation for Australia antigen, the original name for hepatitis B surface antigen. What?
I forgot about this conspiracy. All right, sorry.
Discovered by Brosh Blumberg in 1965 using a serum from an Australian Aboriginal patient. The Australian antigen has been linked to the conspiracy literature, to biological warfare research, and to vaccine programs. The dual reading, mining, and biochemistry is characteristic of the symbol of ambiguity that pervades DIA. Every element admits at least two interpretations, one innocent and one alarming. The airport has never invested significant effort into foreclosing the alarming ones. So again, like, yeah, the AUAG mining cart art on the floor. The Australian antigen wouldn't make any sense to me if it was if this was like foretelling of incoming bioterror and stuff, because antigens are how you fight bioterror. Like antigens are cures. Why would they put the Australian antigen, the cure for hepatitis B, as some sort of like foreboding symbol? Also, go on.
It's because it goes back to like that new world order like theories. So only the elites will pick who gets the antigen.
Well, and that could be true. I just feel like they would need a better like, again, this is we're existing in a post-COVID world. Now, I believe that COVID was manufactured, dispersed on purpose as a way to control the population, see if they could get the population to do what they say for a virus that has a 99.9 repeating percent survival rate. If they were going to release a global contagion to like depopulate or to suppress the population or to get them to conform, I don't think it'd be hepatitis B. No, that to me doesn't scream like that's the global thing they'd use, because hepatitis being a an STD, well, you would need your legion of subservient worker class to continue to breed, to have more babies, to continue serving the ruling class. So that one just doesn't make sense to me.
And also, it would be very dumb to advertise that you have the cure.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and also I'm pretty sure the vaccine killed more people than the actual virus. So
agreed. A dedication plaque in the Great Hall features the phrase "Zit Dit Gal," identified as Navajo Dine for the White Mountain, a reference to Mount Blanca, one of four sacred mountains that define the boundaries of the Navajo homeland, known as Dineta. Mount Blanca, a 14,345 feet, lies in the Sangre de Cristo Range, approximately 200 miles south of Denver International Airport. The inclusion of Navajo's sacred place name in an airport located outside Navajo territory has been interpreted as a tribute to the indigenous peoples, as a geographic reference linking DIA to the sacred landscapes of the American West, or in the conspiratorial reading, as part of a deliberate program of symbolic encoding that runs through the airport's design. And this is where these start getting so dumb. People have been, no, it's actually secretly German. Like, no, guy, it's just... I lived on the Cherokee Nation. I've got a lot, I'm never shy about my Native American heritage. Sometimes the businesses in America just have Indian shit there because it's part of our fucking history. And there's no secret message in the Navajo words that they have on the floor.
Huh.
Yeah.
The architecture intense. I don't know that we need to. Here we go. The underground, what lies beneath. The question of what lies beneath Denver International Airport is the most consequential element of the DIA conspiracy, and the one for which evidence is most frustratingly incomplete. What's officially acknowledged, DIA has an extensive underground infrastructure. Automated train system connects the airport's three concourses, A, B, and C, to the main Jepson terminal through underground tunnels. The train tunnel is over a mile long. The failed automated badge system required its own network of tunnels, so separate from the train system. Utility corridors, mechanical spaces, and service areas extend beneath the terminal and the concourses. The total volume of earth moved during DIA's construction was approximately 110 million cubic yards, a figure frequently cited in conspiracy literature and one that deserves contextualization. The Hoover Dam required the excavation of approximately 5.5 million cubic yards. The Panama Canal is approximately 240 million cubic yards over a 10-year construction period. DIA's 110 million cubic yards, excavated over approximately 4 years, represents an extraordinary volume of earthwork for a civilian construction project. Again, I don't read that as conspiratorial. To me, it's just like they thought they had this revolutionary new technology and they needed to dig up all this land to make it work.
It was like Google Glass, but, with a building.
Right, exactly. Complete failure on its face. But, like, they tried. Having affected, like city levels, like underground facilities the size of cities is nothing new. I don't know how many people realize it. There's an entire cities underneath Disney World for the workers to work. That's how have you ever seen someone take out the trash at Disney World? No, it's because when you throw stuff into fucking trash cans at Disney World, it's actually connected to a tube that takes it underground where all waste disposal and everything happens. That way you never see trash at Disney World.
Yeah, they
Oh,
have them under
interesting.
hospitals to get dead bodies out of there because
Yeah.
it's not good for the morale. When you're wheeling a bunch of carcasses.
Yeah, the point is, city level, like massive underground facilities, that's not abnormal. Now, what it can be used for, that's what we're going to find out. Airport authorities have stated the underground infrastructure is commensurate with the airport's size and operational requirements. They have pointed to the train system, baggage tunnels, utility corridors, and below-grade portions of the terminal building as accounting for excavation. This is plausible. A facility of DIA scale, but on open prairie with no bedrock constraints, would logically place significant infrastructure underground. The question is whether the underground infrastructure exceeds what these systems require. Construction workers have provided testimony gathered over years by researchers and documentary filmmakers. The underground extends beyond what the official systems account for. The most consistent reports describe a multi-level underground structure, at least 3 levels below grade and possibly more, with lower levels inaccessible to most construction personnel. Workers describe being escorted to and from the work areas, being prohibited from entering areas adjacent to their assignment sections, and being required to sign non-disclosure agreements whose scope extended what would be normal beyond what would be normal for civilian construction. These accounts have not been independently verified, and the airport has neither confirmed nor denied the specific claims, but the accounts are numerous enough and consistent enough across the different sources and time periods. They constitute a pattern rather than an isolated allegation. So this part's interesting to me because, again, this stuff hasn't been independently verified. They already say it. Yeah, we also have a gajillion accounts of people seeing Bigfoot. That don't mean there's a fucking Bigfoot. Like, some people hear shit, they start talking, they want to be involved in it, other people start talking. Without any sort of independent verification, you're not going to get me to believe any of it.
I think that's fair. Like, I mean, think about it. Like, even though we have way more cameras than we ever have had in our history, we were having less actual UFO sightings.
And the footage of Bigfoot just keeps getting grainier and grainier.
Yep. So
also, I mean, there is a pattern. There is a definite pattern, though. Are we going to talk about the runways?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the runways.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Now, Phil Schneider. This is my favorite part because for those of you guys who don't know who Phil Schneider is was a ufologist who claimed that he was part of the military at the secret underground Dulce base in New Mexico when a fight broke out between the military and the aliens that are housed there. And he traveled the UFO circuit until his very mysterious death in the 90s. So Phil Schneider, or early 2000s, one of the two. Phil Schneider had a lot to say about this back when he was alive. A self-described geologist and structural engineer who claimed to have worked on classified underground construction projects for the U.S. government, including, he said, the construction of the underground bases at Dulce, New Mexico, and other locations, stated in a series of lectures delivered in 1995 that the DIA's underground complex extended to a depth of 8 levels and was connected via tunnel to other underground facilities in the Colorado Front Range. Schneider's claims are extraordinary and have not been independently verified. His credibility has been debated extensively. Supporters point to his detailed technical knowledge of tunneling methods and underground construction. Skeptics note the absence of documentary evidence for his employment history and the escalating nature of his claims in his final years. On January 17, 1996, Schneider was found dead in his Wilsonville, Oregon apartment, a rubber catheter hose wrapped around his neck. The Clackamas County medical examiner ruled the death suicide. Schneider supporters, including his ex-wife Cynthia Dreyer, had disputed this finding, noting that Schneider, who had lost several fingers in what he described as an underground construction accident, would have had difficulty tying those with his remaining fingers. The circumstances of his death had never been independently investigated. All of that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Schneider's death is very mysterious. Very mysterious.
It's also been a long-standing opinion on this channel that he was just a misinformation agent.
No, not Schneider. You're thinking of, oh my God, what's his name? Oh my God.
No, I am thinking of that.
I'm blanking on. So at the same time in the UFO circuit in the 80s and 90s and whatnot, there was a government misinformation agent who was going out and telling these stories. No, not Snowden. It's no, not Lazar. No. He was in the same circles as Lazar though. I'm Richard Doty.
Yes.
Richard Doty was the misinformation agent who came out and years later acknowledged he was a paid government misinformation agent. And now recently has gone back on that, saying, no, I was never actually a misinformation agent. It was all real. I just couldn't say it because the government wouldn't let me. Yes, Snyder's death is weird. And Snyder was not a misinformation agent. I actually do think Snyder was killed. I think that a lot of his theories and whatnot were wrong, and he had been caught faking evidence before. But I do think he did have a lot of information, and his death was strange.
You don't think he was doing the old David Carradine and?
Nah, I don't know why you do a David Carradine with your own catheter tube. That's a real specific
crazy.
That's some kinky shit.
The proximity to no military underground facilities is the contextual fact that gives the DIA underground question its weight. The Cheyenne Mountain Complex, 65 miles to the south, is a confirmed underground military installation. 15 buildings housed inside a hollowed-out mountain mounted on massive springs to absorb the shock of nuclear detonation. Constraining the command center for NORAD and U.S. Northern Command. It was built between 1961 and 1966 at a cost of approximately $142 million, $1.3 billion in 2024 dollars. The facility is designed to be self-sufficient for extended periods with its own power generation, water supply, and air filtration. Now, all that's true about the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. The thing is, they're actually a little bit wrong here. It's closer to 90 miles, not 65 miles. And here's where I have an issue with the whole, there's an underground train that would take you from the Denver airport to Mount Cheyenne. You guys know what the longest underground train in the world is? Longest underground train tunnel in the world is?
What's that?
15 miles. So they're wanting us to believe there's actually a super secret, almost 100-mile long underground train station that takes you from the Denver airport to this super secret NORAD facility. The longest one in the world, it's in Europe, I believe, is 15 miles. I get the government's ahead of us by, roughly 30 years in terms of technology. I feel like we would definitely have more information on this. To me, this just seems like a wild theory with no knowledge of engineering on how to back it up.
Tracks.
So,
pun.
The continuity of government COG program, classified set plans and facilities designed to maintain federal authority during and after a catastrophic event, has been a central element of American national security planning since the Eisenhower administration. Garrett Graff's 2017 book, Raven Rock, The Story of U.S. Government's Secret Plan to Save Itself, While the Rest of Us Die, documents the history of the COG program in detail, drawing on declassified documents and interviews with former officials. Graff identifies a network of underground facilities spread across the eastern United States, including the Raven Rock Mountain Complex in Pennsylvania, the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center in Virginia, and Peters Mount facility near Charlottesville. Those are all real, by the way. Every one of those is real. Designed to house president, the cabinet, military leadership, and essential government personnel in the event of nuclear war. So that's effectively everything without getting into like the weird stuff, like how they people attribute like the underground facilities where they actually house aliens and have our meetings with lizard people. There's more. We're going to pretty much do some wrap up because we've already been going way longer than a normal episode. But so far, there are questions and there are real things about this that are weird. However, there's also stuff that takes away the credibility when you start adding things like, oh, the super secret 90-mile long underground tunnel that takes you to Mount Cheyenne with literally zero evidence. I don't know where I'm falling on this. So before we do any of the potential debunking portions, there is one more thing that needs to be brought up. Sammy, if you want to find images of it, because I've only got an image of
I found the best one that I could find.
All right, share your screen, because Denver Airport's got something a little bit strange with its runways. This is strange. Denver Airport's got something strange with its runways. It's laid out in a certain pattern. And Sammy wants to share your screen. We'll give it a gander. There it is. What does that look like? What is the runway? Yeah, the runways are laid out in a swastika.
Oh goodness! And then they had the Nazi on the mafia on the fucking murals.
Yeah. It's one of those things though where we said when you compound everything, it gets weird, So if you just saw that on its head, it's like, no, it's just going in different directions. And it was like, when you get a couple Nazi murals on the wall and, a couple of new world order things, you're like, I don't know about that.
Unfortunately, this one's debunked, though. It's not really a swastika.
Yeah.
You have to remove several bits of information for it to end up being a swastika. People they see the version that's, this here just off the cuff. They quickly see Nazi imagery because, well, we're all familiar with it. It does look vaguely without the black lines like a swastika. No, it's not. It's really the only reason that it looks like this is because what was the biggest issue when we were talking at the beginning of this with the original Stapleton Airport? Do either of you remember?
Yeah, it was they were counterintuitive. They would go against the weather.
Right. So what these runaways do is by having it go in all the directions like this, it means that no matter what the wind conditions are, they can have flights out.
Which you would assume most modern airports should probably do.
Yeah, honestly, especially if you're in an area with like lots of inclement weather and whatnot, that's a smart idea. So this actually is good engineering in terms of how to do proper management for your incoming and outgoing flights. It's not a swastika. The Nazi imagery that was on the walls was semi-real. It doesn't mean it was pro-Nazi, just that it was, fucking there. Also, it's worth noting that the Government Accountability Office did, in fact, do a internal investigation about the failure of the baggage handling. Now, I'm not going to trust anything from the government, especially the Government Accountability Office. Yeah, you guys don't hold yourselves accountable for anything, but I do think it was funny the government themselves investigated them. But there are still legitimate questions, and that's that's I think we're going to wrap it up. There is a conspiracy here, absolutely. The conspiracy about where did the additional several billion, $2.7 billion go? Why have we never seen an itemized list? Why is so much of the underground facilities completely unused and inaccessible and not allowed to be there? And lastly, the question of why have you not done anything extra with the additional 25 square miles of land you have? That is all very sus to me.
I mean, like the whole thing is sus.
Go on, Sunny.
I mean, like everything about it, from the huge land acreage, like the fucking system that didn't work, but they still claim is going to be like revolutionary once it does work. The fucking statues, the murals, like everything about it's really sus.
But Cindy, the Government Accountability Organization took a look at it, and the government wouldn't lie.
The government takes accountability less than a woman does, and I always feel that's kind of startling.
Yeah,
so
shocking, actually.
Yeah, I think the important thing about this is like when they ran that ad to make the during their reconstruction, their remodeling to make the conspiracy theories like super downplayed and like a joke. They really are covering something up with that. I just don't think they're covering up aliens and lizard people. I think they're covering up like, hey, if we make talking about the Denver airport seem so outlandish, then normal citizens like you and I saying, what happened to $2.7 billion? We also get discredited because we're even entertaining the Denver airport stuff. But no, I think that what happened to $2.7 billion that just went missing during a government and privately funded construction of the largest airport in the country, where half the land isn't being used and has not been added to in 30 years. And it's not even the busiest airport in America, not near the busiest airport in America. Those are all very valid questions, and there is a conspiracy behind those. And by the way, I do see the Volmer kick on a gift. I'm just haven't gotten to the last supers and gifts and stuff yet. Anyway, though, what is a conspiracy at the end of the day? Sammy, Cindy, what is a conspiracy?
It's just the collaboration of like 3 or more people trying to hide something.
Correct. If $2.7 billion is missing and 25 square miles of land has not been used in 30 years, And we have still don't have any information on the tunnels beneath, things like that. That is all a conspiracy, and that's a very real conspiracy. You don't need UFOs or lizard people to make that a conspiracy. And I think that accountability and transparency for $2.7 billion missing, that's a conspiracy, and that's a lot of fucking money. Something is happening at Denver Airport, or something did happen at Denver Airport, and I think that people should know what it is.
Well, and also when you think about it too, so you got $2.7 million missing. You have 25 miles of unaccounted for land. But when you think if you're going to hide somewhere, if you're going to hide something somewhere or build something somewhere that you don't want people to see, think of a more regulated civilian site than an airport,
especially in a post 9/11 world.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's it's you can't walk anywhere near an airport on foot, like, you know what I mean. They're well
Even
guarded.
my city's small rinky-dink airport you don't get to without like you don't just waltz up to.
No, exactly. So I mean, it is a wonderful place to theoretically build or hide something that you don't want somebody to see, that you don't want the public to see. And like I said, that's a substantial amount of money, and that's a substantial amount of land, and it's guarded. And when you think about it, like, you have all these other weird things that people are asking questions about. No one really asks those questions, because it is hiding in plain sight. You would walk by an airport where it's fenced off for miles and miles and miles before you can even get to the airport proper or any of the runways. You don't think twice
that
about
25 square miles of undeveloped land and whatnot is still patrolled, is still off limits, is still has security around it. That is weird. I mean, I get that, like, hey, you could say it's because it's private property and there's trespassing, but 25 miles of undeveloped private property, and what's someone gonna do? Get out there and fucking shoot some fireworks?
Yeah, or get there and there's like plane enthusiasts who like to get real close to takeoff sites and like watch. Usually they're gated at a point where they don't want you getting into the facilities or getting, and it's also a public safety thing. You don't want anybody just like wandering onto a runway or anything like that. But this is 25 miles away.
It's a bit extreme.
Yeah.
So let me hit these supers and whatnot and call those out, and then we'll do final thoughts and wrap up. First of all, over on the kick side, shout out to our boy Volmer Vladius for gifting a subscription and hitting our boy Light Ferret. You absolute fucking legend. Thank you so much. The support on Kick means the absolute world to me. Then we got Dad Darno Taco to 6-banger. Little Cindy being here to predict Skynet in 2094. Good job. That's effectively what you did. I am curious about that time capsule. I really am. Dad Darno Taco with a 5-banger. As a former resident of White River, Arizona Reservation and Pine Ridge with the Sioux, it is Navajo, not really conspiracy. Yeah, exactly. It is not a conspiracy whatsoever. In my opinion, they've got Navajo writing on the fucking floor. That's just a design choice. But shout out and thank you to all of you guys for your donos. This is for you.
Like, I don't think humans were meant to see sissy hypno inflation compilations.
But hey, by the way, did you know that I suck dick as a man? I lick the ass of other men. But really quick, I lick the balls of a man.
Another thing I noticed when doing the research for this is there was a distinct lacking of anti-Semitism. And you know me, when I do my conspiracies, I want to see some anti-Jew shit. So to compensate for the fact that we didn't have that, this is for you guys.
Donald, write this name. Hassan Nasrallah.
Hassan Nasrallah. Got it.
Next, Yahya Sinwar.
Yahya Sinwar.
And Ismail Haniyeh. Abu Obida.
Shout out. You guys are the best. Absolute legend. Thank you for the $1 dude, true Aztec warrior. Cindy, give me your final thoughts, girly.
If you want to hide anything, hide it in an airport, apparently, because you get away with it. Other than that, that was interesting. I like that. The horse kind of spooks me, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, again, tragic accident, absolutely. At least I think. However, fuck, what a way to start things off. Like, murderous horse statue displayed at the opening gates of your fucking airport. Like that's got glowing evil red eyes. That's crazy. Sammy, what about you? Final thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, I you know, this is just one of my favorite overall like conspiracies. I am shocked that it's taken us this long to get to it, but it's great. And my prediction is they took down the murals. I think one of the famous paintings they're going to put on the side is going to be Vigo the Carpathian. That would be a great one to. No, it's just a collection of just like weird things, and a lot of them are unexplainable. A lot of them are probably just circumstantial, but it's like I said throughout this entire episode, it was like, okay, if you have one, that's like weird. When you have like 13.
And when we did the debunking, we debunked maybe half of them, but that doesn't explain the other half, and that's still a very long list of things to question. Again, it's mostly all financial. I guess I will just use this as my final thoughts. Most everything at the end of this that we can't debunk has to do with the financial stuff, and that really, at the end of the day, is where a lot of conspiracies come from and end up and whatnot. It's like you got to follow the money. Following the money will usually take you to the end point of like where all this stuff's going down. You know, Lockheed Martin got a whole lot of money. Lockheed Martin helped fund this. That being said, when $2.7 million is missing, you can't follow the money because there's no accounting for, 2.7 billion, not million, billion. There's no money trail to follow, and that is sus.
That's sus. And like I said, about the other things where a lot of the workers have
the compartmentalization.
No, not the compartmentalization. Just like people who actually work at the airport now. There's a long.
They've got these bad feelings. And,
I mean that's in a bunch of buildings. There is strange decor. There's a lot of things going on in the background. I mean, I'm never comfortable in an airport. I would hate to work at an airport. So I mean, as far as like lizard people and shit, I mean, I got, but no. And my favorite one is like the New World Order or the Illuminati. It was like, do you think I just said one of the most uncomfortable places on the planet is probably an airport? Do you think
right up there with the DMV?
Yeah, so that was like, our world overlords are just gonna like set up shop in an airport, like
especially when they have a perfectly good facility at Mount Cheyenne, just less than 100 miles away.
It's fun to joke about. It's just like I said, there's a lot of coincidences that make this very fun to talk about it. But yeah, really, when you really want to get to the actual mysteries, follow the money because you can.
All righty, and with that, it's time to set up. We're going to raid into Sevi. Let's do some outros. Cindy, tell the people who you are, what you do, and what you got coming up.
Oh, hey guys, I'm Cindy. I'm going to be picking back up my discussion on Spider-Man, A Brand New Day, and we'll be talking about it tonight. We're going to be looking at Mahler's review on it, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'll be crashing out.
Good luck. Your stream about to be 6 fucking hours.
Oh man. But I just came back from vacation. It was a lot of fun. I needed yesterday to recoup, so I am back.
Sammy, what about you? What you got coming up, homie?
Tomorrow, a very Cavecast special. I will be interviewing Chuck Dixon, and I will have a couple of friends to help me out, and we will be talking about who better to talk about Bane than the guy who created Bane. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be at 8 p.m. EST.
You'll love to see it. As for me, videos and streams every day. We have a video coming out tomorrow about the Crunchyroll situation. We'll be doing the lunch hour as normal, 3 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And me and Hypno will be playing more video games over on the gaming channel tonight. We're still going to continue to play The Ascent. So all in all, lots to look forward to. Definitely check out the Crunchyroll video. It's going to be one of those highly edited, curated videos. There's a lot to cover about how Crunchyroll and Sony are continuing to destroy physical media. So that being said, I want you thank you so much for the donos. Today was a hilarious stream, the dono war going on. Very good time. Appreciate you. That worked out well for me. It was entertaining for everybody else. And with that being said, we're going to raid into Sevi. Make sure to tell her Vital Idol raid. Until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise. Deuces.